Well, welcome to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with professional killer Phil North.
G'day, how you going there, legends? Chili Philly here from down under, from Burnin down under. Officially called Chili Philly, apparently, and one of the spice legends here, yeah.
You literally have a name of like a Jack Reacher type, where it's like, is he a ghost? Do people know who he actually is, or is he Tom Cruise? I have no clue.
A bit hairy than Tom Cruise, mate, you might say.
A better looking Tom Cruise, I would say.
Oh, mate, I'm going to take that compliment. That's gold.
I freaking hate Tom Cruise, first of all. If anybody knows Tom Cruise, he has a tooth in the middle of his in the middle of his face. There's just one tooth dead center in it. And it's like, that's not right. That's not right at all.
Something wrong with the drinking water there, mate.
Yeah. Well, Phil, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? And if you want, what do you do professionally?
Matty, wow, it's funny you said the whole Jack thing. Bit of a jack of all trades. I have done so many different things professionally, from construction to personal training. I've even worked for a grocery store. I worked for a 24/7. Imagine a 24-hour 7-Eleven run by Aussies, right? Done that once. That was wild. And now I'm a support worker for people with disabilities. As you can probably tell, I'm a bit of a personality, real people person, very gregarious by nature. So I love getting in people's faces, giving a bit of a giggle. And so the people I work with, matey, are pretty disabled, but they're absolute legends, matey. So I get to give them some laughs, give them some fun, and sort of just improve their quality of life, mate, which is really good, and just sort of help them to be as independent as possible. So that's what I do for a full-time gig. But like you said, on the side, I've discovered this chili passion that I've sort of just fell into. Which has been quite a trip on its own, mate. It's been absolutely wild, and it's almost like, what was that movie where the Indian dude wins the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Have you seen that one?
I have not. Wait, you mean Slumdog Millionaire?
That's it, Slumdog Millionaire. So it's almost like this perfect storm of situations that have sort of led me to this situation where my mum used to put too much chili on food. Or I used to work for an Indian restaurant, and the Indian guy is just like, no, white boy, you need more than that. You cannot have murder on me. You have to eat hot chili. I make you strong. And it's just this funny, perfect storm of things that it just wildly, ironically put me into this position where most people wouldn't be able to stand this kind of stuff I even put near my mouth. And I'm just chomping away at it going, yep, this is awesome. People going, what? Just freaking people out.
I'll never forget stepping into the chili community when I opened up that door. I was like, #pepper. I looked at that. I was like, what's this? And I just started seeing all these people that were making their own hot sauces and stuff. I was like, well, this is pretty unique. And then now it's like, people are like, yeah, you talk to hot sauce people. I'm like, it's a big thing. There's a lot of people out there making sauce or doing challenges. I mean, I'll give a huge shout out. First of all, obviously we can give our honorable mentions and our shout outs, but when it comes to Two Angry Cats as a sponsor and David from Way Hot Sauce, those guys have been keeping me through this Rona. They've been keeping me, immune system at the highest level, I would say. But fuck my USPS guy, the guy that delivers my packages, because every time Josh from Two Angry Cats sends me a package of hot sauce, it looks like they drop kicked the fuck out of it onto my doorstep. Like yesterday, I just got a package, and I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, it's the third freaking time this has happened. He's like, dude, that just looks like someone beat the shit out of it. There was a dent all the way through the box, and then they literally, with their own trash bag, they put it in a trash bag and put it on my doorstep. And I could smell it reeking out from as soon as you open up the door, it's just reeking all over the place. I'm like, damn. But there's one bottle that made it, and that's their new Chipotle sauce. And I swear to God, I give credit to where credit is due. They nailed it on the fucking head, dude. I'm a heat guy, much like yourself. I like to feel the burn in the tummies. I like to get the diarrhea sometimes. You know what I mean? But,
the ring of fire.
Yes. Okay. I want to ask you a question, and I want a 100% honest answer. You ever shit your pants?
Sure. Not from chili, thankfully. That's from me just running to the toilet and just making it on time. I tell you what, mate, there's been some really, really close times where I've gone, oh, I'm not gonna make it. Oh.
It's like the worst feeling when you're driving in your car and you're basically standing straight up in your car, like trying to make sure nothing's coming out. You're like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it.
it's like the wee wee dance. You're like, and it's like the the lava coming at your other end dance, and you're like, oh no, come on, please, Lord, let me make it. Oh, oh. And you like get to the toilet, like, oh, it's coming out of me like lava, but it feels so good.
I guess people get hit with it differently, but I had a custom made sauce for me where it was like Ghost Reaper extract, Carolina Reaper extract, and like basically everything you don't want to put in a sauce. And it was like David couldn't sell it. He couldn't sell it to the people because it was just too hot. It was just be a giant nobody. It's basically just to kill your taste buds. There's no flavor to it. It's just heat. And so what I was doing was when I come home from the gym, I would put it in a protein shake. So I would like a small little dot was enough, but I'm sitting there like, oh, it's hot sauce. So I'm sitting there shaking the shit out of it and just dumping half a bottle in my protein shake. And I started drinking it. You want to talk about immediate relief? There's no amount of Tums in the world that could have fixed that situation. I was like, oh God, something's stabbing me. It's hitting so hard. And then like, the next thing I know, dude, I could feel like I haven't shit in like 30 something days. It's a medical issue. This thing
Okay.
made gas come out. And I was like, this is the key to my issue is just find a sauce that's going to murder your insides and shred off all that, like a cleanse. Like we've all taken the fucking onion or the lemon pepper cleanse where it just makes you crap your brains out. This was like an enema for your soul.
I felt my soul's leaking out of my insides.
Okay.
Yeah. Satan, is that you calling? Hello. Oh, it says eat more. Okay.
Have you ever met like anything like what would you say when you dived into the pepper community? What was like what's the beneficial thing you really enjoy about it? Like what's the one thing that you take away that you're so happy you dived into this group?
Well, medically, one thing I have to do have to speak for is I've had a few medical issues where I get really bad reflux, and ironically, if you combine drinking with chili and peppers and stuff like that, it'll make it worse. But if you don't drink with it and you have a regular intake of chili and pepper type products in your system, as long as it's not synthetic stuff. So I'm not talking about extracts. I'm talking about like natural, homegrown, kind of organic kind of stuff, right? With raw peppers and other peppers put into sauces, it actually reduces the acidity in your body. It's an actual, because it turns out peppers and chilies and stuff like that are actually really high alkaline. So it's like a superfood, dude. It's crazy. It boosts your metabolism. It decreases your what's it called, your acidity. So your body's more alkalinic. And I found that I used to have to take medications like that to keep my acid level reflux down so that I didn't have to get indigestion. And now I don't really get it if I do regular kind of chili stuff, man, it's really awesome. Like that's something that I was just like not expecting. I was expecting something quite the opposite. And it's just been, yeah, there's been heaps of different things. And it's, yeah, it just seems to give you less, what's it called? Yeah, it keeps you regular, like you said. It keeps things moving.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it reduces sort of inflammation as well. Like I feel like literally I get up earlier and easier in the morning. Like I've never had like arthritis or something like that, but if I've ever had it, it's certainly gone. You know, I sort of wake up a bit easier, a bit lighter on my feet, a bit more pep in my step, and yeah, it's really thrilling because like the other thing I've noticed is it's a bit of a stress reliever, and it seems like there's a direct link with what's it called, how it reacts with your brain, right? And I did a bit of research because I was really curious about it too, because I was like stumbled going, what is going on with this? How does this work? Because I've noticed there's an odd thing with a lot of the chili community. I'm not saying anything bad, but I've noticed a lot of people, or a fair few, have been like ex-drug addicts or people that have been alcoholics and things like that. But they've reformed because of the large quantities of chili that they're regularly eating. And it turns out, I did a bit of research, and chili actually activates the same neurotransmitters, right, for addiction as cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, stuff like that. And it like breaks them away, blasts them, and makes you sort of reconnects those kind of addictions towards the chili. So you're slowly getting.
It's a stimulant like coffee. It's the same
That's
reason
right. It's, yeah,
if you ever go to like an
it's a universal
alcoholics,
drug.
Yeah, if you go to Alcoholics Anonymous or something, there's usually a pot of coffee and there's those types of things because you need a new fix, you know, especially it's
That's right.
hard coming off an addiction. You need to find another outlet for it. It's where like a lot of people are like,
Mm.
when did you start hoarding your stuff? Oh, when my wife left around 2017. And when did you start hoarding? Around a month later. It's like, yeah, because you're funneling it into something different. Now you're just hoarding a lot of shit.
I'm
And
just
it's
pouring my rage into something else instead of the
yeah.
dog.
But you know what's really strange is about the pepper community is the fact that like the dumb questions you can obviously get from just people that don't know, like, you know, don't dump hot sauce and everything is like, why is your nose always running? Are you coming down with a cold? It's like this clears out your whole
Actually,
system.
that's actually a point I do want to notice, or I do want to bring up, which you asked before. One of the benefits is I never get sick. It's so awesome. It's like it's supercharged my immune system. And you know, people go, "Oh, Rona this, Rona this." I'm just like, man, I'm just gonna smash some hot sauce today.
I'm
Rona,
literally
touch another bit.
I'm literally dumping hot sauce on like everything, and people are like, "Why are you? Do you have Corona? Your nose is running." I'm like, "It's this is flushing out everything. It's like when you take a sauna, and you sweat all the toxins out. This is just cleaning out your inside, everything.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you do a bad booze night and then you try some hot sauce, you're gonna be smelling the booze
Oh,
in your
you sweat it
sweat.
out. You sweat it out so hard. Yeah. No, but yeah, it's seriously, it boosts your immune system. And that's why I was curious. Like I said, I was Googling it going, oh yeah, what's the story? What does it do? And yeah, one of the things, a huge benefit from regularly giving yourself, what's it called? Any sort of chili or pepper kind of intake is you boosted immunity, even sleep better. Like I've legit felt like I've slept better. But yeah, we were joking about the chili community. We were saying, should we just tell everyone that it's secure? It's the vaccine for Corona. Like,
That's what I said.
just
I was like,
inject that in your veins instead. No,
yeah,
just kidding.
don't go for Lysol. Just go for a bottle of hot sauce.
Yeah, yeah. Look, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty fun.
So, what exactly is Burnin' Bites Down Under?
All right, mate. Well, I'll give you a bit of an explanation. So, Burnin' Bites Down Under, as you can probably tell, I'm a bit of a character, like to be silly and like to throw on some crazy challenges, and I go wild with voices and characters and stuff like that. Burnin' Bites is the opportunity for me to promote chili products, mainly from Australia, but I'd love chili in general. So, I'm expanding what I'm going to put on the show very soon. So it's starting as Burnin' Bites Down Under, but I think eventually we're going to evolve into just Burnin' Bites or Burnin' Bites Worldwide. But what we do is, have you ever seen that show called Hot Ones?
I have seen Hot Ones. It's pretty
Yeah, yeah.
popular. It's pretty popular in America.
Yeah. So we've been compared to that. So it's funny. The story sort of went like this, right? Me and my mate were really into Hot Ones, really loved it. And one time my mate's gone, mate, you could do that. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, Sean Evans, mate, he's awesome, you know, but he's a bit chill, you know, he's research and stuff like that. But Phil, mate, you're the opposite side of the spectrum for that guy. You're just wild, crazy, loud, talk fast. You're this character. He goes, I reckon you could do it. He goes, he's the research kind of guy. You're just off the cuff, just wing it kind of dude. And you're just so quick that, you know, in a conversation, I get to just flick it around. And every time I've sort of spoken to this guy, and he'll throw something at me out of the blue, and I'll just come back with something, just this back and forth. So he's gone, righto, well, I said, all right, well, I'm game, man. Like, let's give something like that a crack. So he goes, well, here's the other half, right? And he goes, can you eat hot sauce, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never really been gravitated to the hot sauce or pepper chili kind of community. So I thought, all right, throw it at me, mate. It's like, show me what you got. So he gave me a Medusa. Have you tried Medusa?
I've never tried Medusa.
Medusa is a hot sauce there in America as well. They think they do Exoroso as well. But yeah, apparently it's pretty hot. It's over 1 million Scoville or something like that. And he goes, have some of this, wax it on a spoon. I go, oh, that's pretty tasty. And he goes, what? Just give me that weird look, and he goes, no. And he goes, no, I'm going to test this out. And he gets the last dab, and it was the double X, the number 2
I
one, right?
murdered that
He goes,
whole bottle, dude, and I didn't
yeah,
feel
yeah,
shit, man.
yeah. And so he goes, here, have some of this. So I just teaspoon of that stuff, right? Full teaspoon. You go, oh, that's real tasty. And he goes, no. And he goes, I hate you. I'm like, what's wrong? And he goes, I have like a toothpick of that, and that makes me cry. And he goes, screw you, you can have the bottle. And so it sort of started from there.
Literally, like the last dab doesn't hit me, but you know what hits me that you wouldn't expect is the El Yucateca, that one little bottle
Oh,
of
El
hot sauce.
Yucatan.
That when I try that, it hits me really hard, surprisingly. I'm like, why is this hitting my heat in a different way? But like if I do the last dab, I can kill a whole bottle. The only painful part was when I had to go to the bathroom. Oh my God, dude. It was like I don't know. I would explain it to be like when you have to take all your clothes off to shit. Like that's what it was. Like you're grabbing the towel in front of you and you're just praying to God you get through it. I'm like sitting there like this isn't fun. I had a
You get to the
stool in
point where
there.
you're about half an hour in. You're like, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I
Yeah.
shall fear no evil. I shall fear no evil
The
because
only
I can push
th-
this through.
the
And then
only
you're
thing
like,
I
the
can
next thing
relate
you
it
know, you're like,
to is the only thing I can relate it to is there's a video of a guy, and I warn anybody to really go look at this Amazon thing, but it's a 5 pound bag of sugar-free Haribo gummy bears. And what's really weird is that they discontinued these gummy bears, and the reason why is the sugar-free chemical that they put in there to make it taste like the gummy bears without using sugar caused explosive diarrhea. Now, this guy ate a whole entire thing of it, and I literally watched this guy in pain for about 30 minutes, just, I mean, lighting up his toilet. And I'm like, maybe that's the guy, maybe that's not the gummy bears. Every single review, and there's about 2,000 something for this exclusive bag, every single one is that. And some guy wrote, after my ass exploded like Mount St. Helens, I realized that there was no. And then, like, he was going into this paragraph long of, like, as I'm writing this in my pain on the toilet right now, I have to take breaks just to breathe. And I'm like, that's what's awesome about, like, you see the sauces or the chili like challenges that people do on YouTube is like that. It's like AFV, or it's like some type of funniest home videos. You just want to see somebody in pain. You want to that level of truth that you get out of it, like you were mentioning, being good at conversation and then taking a sauce. I noticed through the chili community, I was very lucky. 3 hours away from where I live, I met a guy named Harmon Heat through the podcast. He came down
yeah.
and visited my town of Ocean City, Maryland, to vacation. We did a chili video together. So it was our first time meeting. We've been talking for almost a year now. It was like before the 90 days. I walked up to his house and I was like, if this is like a group of, like, I don't know, people that are going to rob the shit out of me, I have no clue. I've never met this guy in person. I
This is getting
open
a
up.
bit sketchy.
Yeah, the door
What a
opens up.
ninja.
A little girl answers the door. And I'm like,
Oh no!
is
You're thinking
Justin, is,
Resident.
I was like, is
You're waiting for
Justin,
the Resident Evil. You're
yeah.
waiting for the Resident Evil line, like you're all going to die down here. You're like, oh.
I was like, is Justin here? And she's like, yeah, he's in the shower. I'm like, why would you take a shower when I'm coming over and I'm coming over? Okay, so I'll wait. Then he comes downstairs and I'm like, wow, you're smaller in person. But we did a video, and as we're doing the video, like, people gave me shit because I was eating sushi with a spoon. We had one pair of chopsticks, and I don't really know how to use chopsticks, so I wanted a spoon. But
we call them dropsticks over here, mate.
dropsticks. But as we're trying the sauce out that David had sent me, the extremely hot one, what I noticed was when I start getting the heat in me and I start feeling like, you get that feeling like, oh shit, who, the burning sensation, kind of like not the one when you pee and it burns, more like the throat burn. But we did whiskey on top of that, which amplified it. So then when I was instead of
Oh
like
yeah, it sure
mo-
does. It
instead of
sure does.
instead of most people that would just sit there and be quiet, they would stop talking just to kind of deal with the pain. I actually talked more. I was actually a little bit more funnier because I felt more pressure, because when I get the heat, it's like I get with anxiety, I would say. Like I feel like I'm sweating, like my head's too hot. So then I'm like trying to like not get myself in like an uncomfortable position in which I'm uncomfortable as shit. So I'm just cracking jokes left and right. And I'm like, that's what's needed, because like a lot of times you watch these videos, it's just people like quiet and laying down, holding themselves, which is fun to
And they
watch,
just
but
go
it's like,
mute. They just go mute, and it's like bang, mute button. Doop.
it's like, don't forget you're still doing a YouTube video. And it's like, I don't care anymore. I just don't want to die.
I have to agree with you what you're saying there. I'm exactly the same. It's like when alcohol is involved, or chili's involved, or if I go bang, mix the two together, normally on their own, each one both just goes whack and just hits my adrenaline button, and I just start spiking and going through the roof, and it's just that sugar hit and that adrenaline hit at the same time. I'm going, and I'm just the person who likes to talk, right? And as soon as you combine sugar with my kind of personality profile, I just start jabbering away. And like, there's always a running joke. The guy, what can we give to Phil that's going to shut him the fuck up? It's like a challenge. It's like, what can we get to get him to shut him up? Like, because we don't know what he's going to do. It's like this dude can talk underwater or he can talk under concrete. We don't know. So it's that funny, like we're saying there, where they're like, what can we, there's nothing that can stop him. He's unstoppable. So it's that funny. Yeah.
You mentioned something really important, and it's probably one of my favorite things. And you said you like to do voices.
Sure. Yeah.
Please give me one of your voices here, because I have an idea of something we can do, but I want to see what voices you can do first.
Oh, mate, what voices can I do?
Now, like, do you do different accents? Do you do impressions of people? What do you do?
Both.
All right, come on, give me one.
I was like, Arnie, come on, get to the chopper, you fool! Come on, you guys! We could, was it Krusty the Clown? Hey, kids!
I fucking love that! Oh my god! All right, dude, you got to give me. All right, we're gonna create a bit here. We're gonna do an advertisement for hot sauce. I want you to sell it like Krusty the Clown. So if I'm a customer and I'm like, I want to buy it, so I'm gonna do a voice that I can do. I'll do Christopher Walken. I'm really good at that one.
Oh yes. So, if you could show, I want to hear this. This will be good.
So I'm gonna come to you as Christopher Walken, and I'm gonna buy a hot sauce, and you're gonna be Krusty the Clown selling me a hot sauce. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh my! I came here to try my taste buds out on one of your sauces. Do you have anything in store for me to try?
Well, buddy, we got all kinds of sauces. Like, I don't know what's your kind of sauce tolerance.
Well, my tolerance is off the roof, and if you don't hit my tolerance level, you're gonna be in a hole deep down under, in the land down under.
What kind of heat tolerance are we talking here, buddy? I really don't have time for this. Like, come on, like we're talking like Lay's Mega Death Sauce, Ultra Death, talking some of that Hot Ones Last Dab, I've got a hot sauce at my wazoo, what am I supposed to do? Come on, man, give me a direction.
Well, I want something that's hot, like if I was burning down a building and I didn't want to get in trouble.
Well, we've got, buddy, we got so many different things for you. What are you feeling? Feeling a toe of Satan? You feel some Satan spit there? What about some Scorpion Strike on steroids? Oh my God, we've got so much hot sauce. It's going to burn this building down. Wow. Our assurance is through the roof.
Dude, that laugh is fucking priceless, man. I swear, that was like, I love that, dude. Man, I love impressions, and I love, like, if you have that type of talent to, like, be able to disguise your voice or something, like, people do, like, hey, everybody, I'm Mark Wahlberg. Like, that whole thing. Like, if you're able to nail an impression or be able to at least get in that general range, you can turn this into a whole thing. Because if we notice now through hot sauce, it's all about social media. I mean, if you're able to market your stuff well, and I think that's where you fit, is you're like you told me before, I don't make sauces, mate. I'm like, I know. You're more of the making the videos, making the funny, having the character edge. And there's people that you'll know in the hot sauce community that have fucking banging sauce, but they don't know how to sell it properly because they don't have that personality. And I'm like, this is where you guys pair up. This is where you create the ultimate team of, hey, I'll get your sauce out there. And it's an issue I do have with sauce reviewing. Mostly anybody that starts up like an Instagram page, like, send me your sauces, I'll review them. And it's like they got 50 followers, 100 followers. It's like, you're just asking for free shit. It's like,
yeah, I like when I first started, that was kind of the drama that I had. But look, that was sort of what I had to explain. I had to have the selling point. But everyone that I converted to the Burnin train, I had a phone conversation with, and they've just gone, this guy, I'm going to give this guy my sauce. Like, oh my God. You know, it's like, because next thing you know, I'm just like I said, just throwing impressions, just going, oh, chili potatoes, hey, like, now burn them off, and just like, and they just go, oh my God, this dude needs my stuff.
Okay, you got to give me a. All right, we're gonna do another one. What else can you do besides Krusty the Clown?
Oh, what? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can do so many impressions. I can go, excuse me, monsieur, would you like to order? Can I? Do not have order.
That's a French accent. I like that. My Irish one is pretty good. Hi, lassie. How are you doing with me Lucky Charms?
Hi, lassie. How are you doing with my Lucky Charms? Oh, chili potatoes. Oh, they're trying to take my Lucky Charms. Oh.
I'll never forget. I worked with an Irish person, and we did jet skis for a long time. And he got into an accident out on the water, and his accent was so thick that I couldn't sense the severity in his voice. But he got hit.
Oh, no.
He got hit on the radio. He calls and he goes, "I got hit by a fucking jet ski." And I'm already chuckling. I'm like, I can't even. And then like everyone's like, hold on, Robbie, he's being serious. And then he goes, what you laughing at? I think I broke my fucking foot. And I swear to God, I was on the ground holding my ribs, laughing so fucking hard. I couldn't. And he goes, is somebody going to come out here and give me a hand? And I'm like, I can give you a foot. And he goes, oh, fuck you.
Well, Matty, I've got like the flip side to the story because of that. Do you know what Maoris are?
Maoris are little sheep.
Maoris.
Maoris. I've heard it before. You got to refresh my brain.
Okay, so the Maoris are the indigenous culture that lives in New Zealand, right?
Okay.
And so a lot of Americans and Canadians and like a lot of other Western culture, they get New Zealanders and Australians mixed up, right? But as soon as you speak to a Maori and an Australian, we've got very different accents. So you can tell me, I've got more of a nasal twang. I'm like, yeah, g'day, mate. No worries. How you going? Crikey, right? Then you speak to a Maori, like, hey, bro, what's going on, bro? Yeah, sweet as, bro. G'day, how you going? Yeah, bro, sweet as. They all talk like that.
Bro. That's like the surfer thing.
That's more California. Yeah, like, yeah, bro, what's going on? Surf's up, man. Dude, totally. Awesome.
Dude, ride the waves, bro.
Ride the waves, man. Flipper, noggin, dude. 150 dudes, still young. But no, I was talking. So look, there's this thing that happened. I was working in the Gold Coast, right? And the Gold Coast is notorious for having lots and lots of Maoris, so heaps of New Zealanders, right? I was working on this massive construction site. It was just huge. And I was living about 2.5 hours away. And I made friends with this big Maori dude. Maoris are like, have you seen that movie Moana?
Yeah.
Maoris are sort of built like that. They're just these massive dudes. And this guy was 6'3", 136 kilos. What is that? 270 pounds. Massive guy. And I was just like, wow, what's your story? And anyway, just struck up this mad friendship, and he's just going, hey, bro, are you sick of going back and forth back to your work? He goes, and your house, how about you come back to mine? You can stay at mine. The missus, she'll cook up a big feed. Goes, we'll be able to go out on the weekends and be sick as, bro. I'm like, yeah, right. So next thing you know, I was working with them, living with them, and partying with them for about a year. And that I'm one of those people, if I'm around a certain kind of accent, this is probably why I get these accents like this, right? The more I'm around someone, the more I assimilate that kind of accent. So
okay, so
I'm immersed, right?
That brings up a really good point I started to discover, because I worked at a hotel for a very long time, and I was really the only white person on staff. The rest were I worked with Latinos and I worked with Black people. And when they started talking, you know, everybody talks in their own kind of little language. So the reason why you end up picking up an accent is not that you're trying to be rude or you're trying to make fun of them. It's because our minds and our bodies like to form into communities, and we like to pick up on the surroundings. We like to blend in. We don't like to be different. So we like to pick up these things to make us fit into the group. So you'll start talking a little bit like their accent. You'll start doing that thing. Now, it's not rude. It's just our body's way of trying to adapt, our mind's way of trying to adapt. Yeah.
It's called assimilation and emulation. Yeah. Because like you said, you're trying to blend into your ambient surroundings. And there's a Scottish comedian. He nailed this. His name's Danny Boy. I don't know if you heard of him, right? And it's you saying the same thing. He goes, I've never noticed that when you're in certain communities, you don't know why. You start talking the way they're talking. He goes, I think the best example I can think of, because I went to our French restaurant and the waiter comes up to me and goes, excuse me, monsieur, what would you like to order? And he goes, I don't know. What do you recommend? He goes, are you French? He goes, no, are you crazy? I'm Scottish. And he goes, well, why are you talking in a ridiculous accent? And he goes, I don't know. You started it. And I'm just like, I'm all like that all the time, right? So I'll explain this Maori thing. So I was in the Gold Coast. It's about 8 months into this stay that I'm there. And like I said, I'm just immersed, right? I go to the pub with the boys. They're going, righto, go to the pub, gonna have a massive night out. And we're about a dozen drinks in, right? They go, righto, bro, your chef. So I was like, all right, what do you want? And going, yep, this. And a list of like 20 drinks. And I'm like trying to think that, right? My brain's just gone to this auto mode, right? And I'm going up to the bar, just going, here you go, bro. Can I get a VB, a 4X Gold, a Foster's, a new Toys New, a Jim Beam, a Jack Daniels, and this massive Mary's, like 7 foot, whatever. He's just going, looks down at me, goes, are you taking the piss, bro? And I'm like, no, bro, I'm not taking the puss. He goes, are you taking the puss, bro? Oh, smash you. I'm like, no, bro, I'm not taking the puss. It's okay. I'll look at that. And he's going, I'll smash you and I'll throw you in the bun. And I'm like, no. And then my housemate walks over and he goes, it's okay, bro. He's not taking the puss. He goes, he works with Maoris, he parties with Maoris, he lives with Maoris. He can't even help it. He goes, well, you're lucky your bro came and saved you, or I'll throw you in the bun, bro. And he goes, my mate goes, wait, I'm like, what's up? And he goes, buy him a drink, bro. It'll be all sweet. I'm like, all right. I'm like, hey, do you want to drink, mate? And he goes, yeah, okay, bro. I'll get this one. And gets like a scooter of this beer. We sit down and all of a sudden he's all good. He's all sweet. And he turns to me. He goes, hey, bro. I'm like, yeah, mate. What's up? He goes, you want to know something funny? And I'm like, yeah, right. Hit me. And he goes, check out my driver's license. And he passes me this driver's license, right? And it's a learner's. I'm going, what are you got all learners for? And I look at it. The dude is 16 years old and he's 7'3" or 4. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, I'm only 16, bro. And I'm like, to put it in perspective, right? There's double doors as you walk in, right? When I saw this guy walk in, he's gone like this. Turned sideways and ducked under the door to get in, and then just let him straight in. And go, yeah, he's definitely over 18. And
that always amazed me because, like, for our basketball team in school, there was a guy that was 7'4", but he couldn't jump for shit. And I'm like, how do you have that gift and then you can't jump and dunk? Like you can't, like you're tall, but you just can't do any little bit of hops. And I'm like, I'm 5'8", but I can jump like fucking insanely high and I can actually touch the rim and shit if I jump. And I'm like, how can I have the hops and then you not have the hops? Like you're 7'4", you think it'll be 1,000 times easier. And I'm like, this is like God started and then halfway through he's like, I'm fucking done with this project.
Yeah, he just like, yeah, that'll do. Good enough. But yeah, no, it was funny. Then he goes, you want to know something funnier, bro? I'm like, oh, what's that? And he goes, my brother's even bigger than me. He's 8'2". And I'm like, what? And his brother's 21, still growing. He goes, so I can still grow a bit bigger too. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are monsters. And yeah, it just blew me away that these Maori people come from this like ancient tribal warrior race. So they just grow massive. They're like the giants in our region. So like, obviously you see like a lot of black people in your area, they get really big. These guys are just huge. And there's just rumors and myths and legends that back in the day, a few thousand years ago, some of them grew up to 10 feet tall. I was like, holy crap. But like there's dudes that exist today that are over 8 feet. So I'm like, it's possible. It's very possible.
I try my hardest. Like if I ever see a really tall person, I just don't mention that you're tall. Cause I just walk like I had it really, my friend, he's around probably 7 foot standing. But he's extremely like kind of skin and bone. But when he walks around, people are always like, wow, you're really tall. And he gets it all the time. And I just asked him one time, I was like, is it ever get annoying people asking you if you're really tall? He goes, yeah. He goes, we know we're tall. It just gets really annoying when people are like, always have to mention it like they're seeing a tree in person or something. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. That's why I've never asked you. But I do have to say one thing. When you're that fucking tall, people are going to ask you, like, who are you related to? Are you from, like, some, like, secret race or something? It's like, it makes sense, but Dude, I mean, I really want to go back to what you were saying about with the whole voices thing, because then I started thinking, like, imagine sitting at Barack Obama's dinner table and then picking up Barack Obama's accent, like, can you pass the peas and carrots? My fellow Americans, can you make sure that we all have hands in the mashed potatoes? I'm like, dude, you know how
And
bad that.
I'd say back to you, go, here's your fake peas. Take them. And here's your carrots.
It's
Take the carrots. It's fake, though. It's fake.
carrots,
Inject
carrots are
this
fake
gravy, you
news.
fool.
Yeah, look, nobody's better than me. Carrots are fake news. Carrots,
I have the best carrots. The best.
best. Nobody eats my carrots. Your carrots are nothing good but my carrots. I got to work on that accent too. That's something you got to practice on. People don't really realize. Like, you need to actually try your best to really kind of focus in, because if you work on it hard enough, you can narrow down an impression, and you can also lose it too. Like, I fucking
Yeah.
hate Jerry Seinfeld, but my buddy's like, if you work your hardest, you could have the best Jerry Seinfeld. And I'm like, I mean, come
Jerry.
on. What's the deal with airplane food? I mean, is it airplane or is it food? I'm like, oh, I don't even want to
Gary
dive in.
Steinfeld. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it.
Don't do the Jerry
Don't
Seinfeld.
you? Gary Steinfeld. Very bad man. Very, very bad man.
My
Don't you ever do it.
My accent of that comes out like a poo, where he goes, "Oh, thank you. Welcome to the Quickie
Oh,
Bar. May I help you?"
thank you. Come again. Oh, hello, Mr. Simpson.
We're
Hello.
gonna get canceled if we continue doing that impression.
Well, no, actually, can I tell you something? Like, so a lot of why what you're asking me where I got my chili tolerance as well, I suppose. It went back to when I was working in this Indian restaurant. Now, when I say this, when I'm going to do this accent, I mean it as a term of endearment, because I absolutely love this dude. So this dude was from Nepal. And as you might know, Nepal is just above India. So obviously Nepalese guys have got strong Indian accents too. But oh my God, he was the funniest dude to work with, because he was an alcoholic, right? So he's always drinking. So he come to work and dude is always just lit. Right? But he knows his way around a kitchen like the back of his hand. He just knows he can do it with his eyes closed. It's ridiculous. So he doesn't know. It doesn't matter how drunk he gets. He's just perfect, and the same every time, right? And like I was saying, I work with this guy, and at the end of every shift, he goes, right, you can have a meal, right? You get a free meal with your shift, with your food and your money, right? It's like, sweet. And he goes, no, what do you want, white boy? What do you want? And I'm going, how about, he goes, don't you say it. Don't you say bloody mild butter chicken. Don't you bloody say it. I'm like, I'll have a medium. That's bloody right, white boy. And he just he's always just trying to push as much more chili into it. And I remember there was this one time we were serving a banquet of like 20 people. And these 20 people rock up and he goes, you watch this, white boy. You watch this. 20 white people come in. There'll be like 15 mild butter chickens. Then there'll be like 2 lamb rogan josh. Then be like 1 Indian vindaloo. Be like a mad vindaloo. What the fuck is a mad vindaloo? You tell me. I don't know what a mad vindaloo is. And then one guy he goes, okay, I'll have a hot Indian hot vindaloo. What the fuck? And then he goes, okay, I'll go vindaloo. And then 5 minutes later, you watch, he brings back. He goes, oh, it's too hot. Oh, bloody white people, I'm so sick. Oh, this every day. He's such a character.
Look.
And I love him so much.
This is why I'm so pro conversation, because I used to do like the first 90 of these in person, and my 4th episode is with a woman called Drew Patty Singh, and she's from Guyana. Well, she was a maid at my work at my hotel. So I was talking to her, and she was telling me all about her life in Guyana, and I was like, you got to get on my podcast. Like, so I went over to her house, and we started recording, and she starts talking about how she's getting high, and if you listen to that episode, I got a contact high on it. So I eventually ended it like 10 minutes later because I just couldn't remember anything to talk about. But
words, things, stuff.
How do I get that thing in my chest to start beating again? I don't know how that. What muscle is that to work?
There's a thing I'm not doing. Breathing. Right,
yes,
breathe. Yeah.
Robin Williams has a great joke on that one too.
I love Robin Williams. Yeah, he does that.
But when I was talking to her,
dude.
she starts going about how her dad sends her these roasted Carolina Reapers that spend all day roasting in the heat, and she gets them sent and made in a sauce. And she showed me the sauce, and she's like, now for a white boy like you, take a very, very small spoonful. And I'm like, kind of getting the munchies a little bit. So I'm like, fuck a small spoonful. And I go full in for it. And I just start eating it. Like, I mean, next thing I know, I'm halfway down the jar. And she looks at me, she goes, are you sure you don't have a little South American in you? Because that's some really hot shit. Like, that's hotter than hot curry. And I'm like, I love spicy food. I don't know what it is. I love sour stuff
Yeah.
too. I mean, I just got
Yeah. Okay.
both ends of the spectrum on that one. But like, heat, I
Yeah.
always mention, is way better than any lie detector test you will ever have, because if you
Oh.
really,
Oh yeah.
if you
Oh
give
yeah.
somebody a
If you could lie
Carolina
to someone
Reaper,
when you're hurting, yeah, no way. It's
yeah,
nuts.
if you give somebody a Carolina Reaper, then ask them a question and ask them to be honest. That's what's so awesome about hot ones, is you're in such a critical state where your mind's just trying to get everything that's in front of you out of the way. So you'll answer truthfully about stuff. It's like, have you ever cheated on me? Yes, with your brother. It's like, my fucking brother? Really? Really?
Funny, that sort of brings me back to like that original previous question where you're asking, well, how do we get Burnin started? So that's kind of the genius part of what I liked about what we created. Is it's similar to Hot Ones, but it varies so different as well in its sense, because we only have Australian products on it. We have Australian guests as well. Obviously, like I said, I'm going to branch out and have a wider spectrum once I've hit everything I can do in Australia, basically. But I wanted to do, obviously, branch out and do heaps more stuff. I'll talk about that more later now. But what I really love, and this is what you're just saying there with chili, is the power that chili has over people. Like a lot of people, they're in their phone and they're like, they're touching the phone, whatever, and they're stuck like that. And it takes so much effort to bring them into that moment. And chili's just like, bam, pow, stay in that moment. And you're like, oh, okay. You're like, no, shut up. You're in the moment. You're in the
It's
moment.
like playing
And
Mike Tyson's Punch Out. You're just getting it fucked up from every
yeah,
corner. You're like,
and
I can't.
you're just like, I'm in the moment. It's okay. I'm sorry. Like you said, it's just that crazy punch drunk truth serum that you just smash with. And so I do interviews as well with people, but obviously with all Aussie products. Funnily enough, our last hot sauce is even hotter than the Hot Ones. It's called Scorpion Strike on steroids. That's why I mentioned it. Hot Ones is 2 million Scoville. Our one's 2.25 million Scoville. So it's extra 250,000
You're
Scoville.
not doing it for the taste. You're doing it to get hurt at this
No.
point.
I'm sorry, Chili Effect, but yeah, this one it sucks. It's so hot.
I love it how people are like,
it's like you got, yeah.
I talk to so many sauce people and they're like, I want to make a sauce that's like super extremely hot, but I want people to buy it, so it needs to be tasty. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
make a
Yeah.
sauce that's extremely hot, because there are going to be people that just want to feel the burn.
Yeah.
I told
And people legit buy it for that.
David quoted me on this, and he put it as an Instagram post. You can follow him. He's a Way Hot Sauce. He quoted me, and it was when he asked, like, why are you dumping that much sauce on there? And I'm like, because there's things, because it burns my insides, and there's things inside of me I want to kill. And it's true, because a lot of people.
I'm only slightly masochistic.
I only slightly want to get the demons out of me, and the best way is making them come out through my poop.
I'm getting the demons out of me by putting more of them in there. New ones in. Yeah, exactly.
Now, do you run bites, Burnin bites down under?
100%, mate. Yeah, so I'm the brains behind it. I mean, I don't have much brains, but at the same time, I'm the brains behind it.
But you started it, right?
Started it. I run it. I'm completely filming all this kind of stuff on my own. I originally had a partner in crime with what he was doing, but as you probably know, behind the scenes with what you're doing, once you go off live and you do pre-recorded things and you start editing things and you've got multiple camera angles and things like that, it gets a bit tedious, And the people who are involved with it just didn't have that passion that I had, right? And as you probably know, once you're involved in some sort of media thing where if it's not live recorded, the editing process is so tedious. So it takes, you've got to at minimum invest 16 hours or 24 hours into something that's recorded for 20. If you do 1 hour of recording from 2 different angles or 3 different angles, minimum you're going to have to put that much effort in to edit it to get like the right takes, narrow it down to a palatable size, sort of like half an hour, 25 minutes to half an hour. so people are actually going to watch this and going, oh my God, what is this monumental marathon of video? And it's all messed up. You've got to get that right. And then you've got to put the sound effects in. Then you've got to put all the little props and your little pictures in. And they just didn't have that passion. Whereas me, I'm full of passion. I'm full of drive. I'm motivated by this stuff. And I think it's required. If you want to succeed in anything to do with chili, passion and drive and motivation is required.
It
It's
actually goes.
required in this industry.
It
Yeah.
actually goes back to the beginning of what I wanted to mention, but I didn't want to kind of hit a serious thing right out the back. I kind of wanted to
Yeah, no,
learn and
go for it.
see.
Yeah,
There's a method to my madness. Trust me. Um, when you
there's just
said
madness to my madness.
when you said
There's just different
working
layers. It's like an onion.
when you said working with people with disabilities,
Yeah. Okay.
what is really a leveler for me is the fact of people can complain about how hard something is, and then I come across a video on Facebook or something of a person that has no arms or legs or has a thing where they're crippled down to a wheelchair based on a birth defect, and I'm like, you can't complain about how your life is when you look like I have millions of things going on that I can be complaining about, but I just choose not to because there's so much other people out there that have it harder than you. And I'm not comparing, don't ever compare yourself to, oh, they have it way worse. So don't feel sorry for them either. It's a factor of you have to work with what you got. And honestly, if you want to invest, and it is 100% easier to invest in
100%.
something you are creating on your own. If
Mm.
you're going to be more invested into Burnin Bites Down Under than any of your coworkers are, because it's your baby too. They might be involved in it, but it's going to be a lot harder when, like, I mean, imagine from where you first started, where it was just an idea to where it is now. You probably would have never thought it would have taken off this much. Next thing you know, you got like a huge following on Facebook. You got all these people that are involved into it. You probably made some major connections. I mean, just through doing the podcast and just sending out that random DM to the group. I met such people that are like lifelong friends now, where it's like I talk to them, hell, I'll give them a shout out. Caesar from Smoking Hot Sauce, he sent me a book that was getting me through some tough times, and he's all about that. I've heard stories, I've met amazing people. I've got a whole bunch of hot sauce that's been sent to me because they've had so much fun on here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to promote you, because what really sucks is that this world is so based on trying to have the best advertisements and everything. And that's where you guys are needed. That's where you guys come in, you, Chris Swell, the sauce reviewers, but the people that are like, I'm going to still pay money to buy your sauce and then I'll review it. Like, if you're just asking for free shit all the time, to me, you come off like a bit of an asshole. It's hard because you got to understand, these are people that are trying their best to be able to make something and sustain a living. And if they're just sending you free stuff all the time, they're maybe getting one or two people following them afterwards, but nobody's buying their sauce. And like, they need, because we've replaced creativity for convenience. It's easier to go to the store and buy a sauce off the shelf than go to like a farmer's market and pick out a whole variety of them. And it really sucks because you'll have a way better experience, might be a little bit more money, but you'll have a way better sauce. And I think hopefully with this world shifting a little bit more and more and more, people are starting to be like, hey, why don't I order this? Or why don't I order that? Or why don't I try this and try that? And obviously there's pitfalls you got to go through when it comes to branding, logos, marketing. Even the name means something. If you have something called like Devil's Dick compared to Dogma of the Dawn or something, those
Or
names are,
Satan's bit.
yeah, those
That's
things are
actually a
going to,
product.
yeah, those things are going to literally catch somebody's attention. So you need to do that. And the same thing with advertising with a label. If you have a pretty funky, cool ass label or cool logo or something, it's going to get people's attention. I think more creatives need to be put in this position, because at the same time, the reason why there's usually a owner and a co-owner, one person handles the sauce making and the other person handles the marketing. There, people have different abilities. I've met people that could not say a word, but when they put their hand to a piece of like a pencil or a paper or something, they can write a million of them. but that's their form of talking, is through writing, not through speaking. So I think the people that are good at speaking, the good people that are good with technology and good at all this stuff, that are able to market really well, need to help out a little bit more. I mean, you guys are all involved in the same community. You guys are basically doing the same thing. You might as well help each other climb to the top, right?
100%, mate. Like, I can't agree with that more. Like, everyone has different abilities, different skills. There's a one guy I know who, anyone who's tried his stuff, this guy is just the most hands-on human being I've ever freaking met. It's amazing. They call him the wizard, right? And it doesn't matter what he touches, whether it's hot sauce, meat, or whatever. He started a meat smoking company called Fire and Line Gourmet Chilies, right? Where his meat, he does 45% Wagyu marbled steak, and he smokes it for 30 hours, and you just touch it with a fork and just goes, and you're like, pretty mouth, you're going, oh, you barely have to chew it. It nearly melts in your mouth. And he does briskets and all these amazing meats. And I got him involved in as with my show as one of my sponsors. So instead of doing wings, we did like steaks and briskets and all this awesome kind of Aussie meats and things. And he's my opposite. This guy is the most hands-on dude ever, right? But if you put him in front of a camera, he's like, oh, yeah, or he sort of melts. Whereas you put me in front of a camera and I just don't want to stop talking, like as you've probably noticed so far. But I just said, like, mate, me and him had this powwow, this chat, and we both fell in love with each other for what our abilities were. And he's just like, I need to get my stuff in front of you. And I'm just like, I just need to get your stuff in my mouth, mate, you know? And it was like one of the few guys I just say, I don't care where you are or what you do, but I'm always happy to have your meat in my mouth. I never want to say that to another man ever again. That's the only man that I ever say that to. I was dating this girl and she's gone, do I have to be worried about you two? Can I leave you two on your own?
It took so much strength in my body not to make a joke on that, but
I was waiting for it. I could see that glimmer in your eyes, like, ooh,
there's still
any second now.
It's like, don't lose your inner kid, man. You still got to crack a "that's what she said" every now and again.
That's what she said.
My grandfather said that to me one time, and I was like, the fuck?
Oh, really?
Dude, my grandfather has the best burns I've ever heard in the entire world. Like, I don't know
really?
Like for instance, my grandmom has a stool, like a chair that's named after me. It was my favorite chair when I was little, so she called it Robbie. She was like, it's Robbie. And then I was like, and then I found another like little stool and it was named Robbie too. And she was like, that's your second favorite chair. And I'm like, holy shit, like, you got all these things named Robbie. And then my grandfather just comes out of nowhere. It was a silent car ride all the way up to up to their house. Comes up and goes, she also has a toilet named Robbie, and just like you in the toilet, they're both full of shit. And then he just looks at me with like a smile on his face, and I just look at him like, what the fuck did I do to you? And then he goes like under my armpit to tickle me, and I'm like, no, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
No touchy. No stuff for you.
I was like, what the hell, man? He goes, oh, come on. You know that was funny. I was like, it's funny, but it hurt. Like, that was completely out of left field. He goes, remember when I asked you on Friday to mow the grass? Well, it's Sunday now, and the grass still isn't mowed. And I'm like, so that's what that was for? I was like,
jeez, Granddad.
I was like 14 years old. I just got a bitch slap for the soul. I was like, damn.
It's like, I'm going to feel that. My grandkids are going to feel that burn.
I'm in a glass cage of emotion.
I'm in a glass case of emotion. Yeah.
But literally, when we hit, like, you know, the pepper community and all these other things, too, is kind of focusing on the fact of, like, I would have never met you if it wasn't for Chris Swell. I would have never met Chris Swell if it wasn't through Harmon Heat. I would have never met Harmon Heat if it wasn't through a couple other people in the chili community, and finding out, dude, we all have similar connections more than we know. We're all really able to have the ability to have a conversation. It's just taking the time to do so. And you gave me the time, man. And I'm super appreciative of it. I'm so happy to have had you on, man. Please promote your show, dude.
Welcome,
seriously.
Brother. Yeah.
Promote your Instagram page, everything.
Oh, guys, head up to Burnin Bites Down Under. That's facebook.com/Burnin Bites Down Under. It's burning without the G, so Burnin, real Aussie. Facebook, we're also on YouTube as well. Same thing as well, same spelling, as well as Instagram. So check out Burnin Bites Down Under. Always trying some more crazy challenges, some more promotions as well. This is my landlord trying to interrupt. Yeah, and we're always trying the next crazy thing. So I'm always out there trying to do something crazy, do something wild, and obviously find the next funny, crazy thing to do. So yeah, keep watching there. Subscribe, follow, or obviously jump on Instagram and follow us there too. Yeah.
And leave a rating, okay, people? That actually helps out the shows. If you leave a rating, my show and his, go check them out. Leave a review. If you like it, subscribe it, listen to it. That's how it works. And we're going to hop off here because his landlord is creeping in the window.
No, he just likes to stir. He likes the limelight as well.
He likes to watch.
He likes to watch.